Elmwood Manor, a name whispered with fear and trepidation. The grand estate stood atop Widow's Hill, its silhouette a jagged scar against the stormy twilight sky. Locals spoke of a darkness that clung to the manor, a palpable sense of dread that sent shivers down the bravest souls. The once vibrant gardens were now choked with weeds, the stone fountain dry and cracked. The windows, like vacant eyes, stared out blindly, reflecting the dying light of the setting sun. It was a place where shadows danced in broad daylight and the air hung heavy with unspoken secrets. The year was 1889. John Harper, his wife Eleanor, and their two young children, Thomas and Lily, arrived at Elmwood Manor, their faces filled with hope and anticipation. John, a successful businessman, had purchased the estate at a surprisingly low price, unaware of its sinister reputation. Eleanor, an aspiring writer, was captivated by the manor's faded grandeur, seeing it as a source of inspiration. They dismissed the local tales, attributing them to superstition and folklore. They would soon learn the truth. The first few nights were the hardest. Unexplained noises echoed through the cavernous halls. Floorboards creaked under phantom footsteps. Whispers seemed to emanate from the very walls, chilling them to the bone. Lily claimed to see a shadowy figure peering at her from the nursery window, its eyes glowing with an eerie light. Then came the nightmares, vivid and terrifying, that left them gasping for breath and drenched in cold sweat. A sense of unease began to permeate their waking hours, a growing certainty that they were not alone. Section 4. Blackwood's Legacy, Unveiling a Tragic Past. One afternoon, while exploring the dusty attic, Thomas stumbled upon a hidden compartment behind a loose brick. Inside, they found an old wooden chest, its surface cold and damp to the touch. Eleanor lifted the heavy lid, releasing a musty odor. The chest contained a collection of faded letters, bound together with a crimson ribbon. As they began to read, the tragic story of Edward Blackwood, the manor's original owner, unfolded before their eyes. Blackwood, a wealthy recluse, had been driven to madness and despair after the untimely death of his beloved wife, Elizabeth. Consumed by grief, he took his own life within the very walls of the manor, his tormented spirit forever bound to the place of his sorrow. Section 5. The Ritual, Confronting the Darkness. The Harpers were living in terror. Objects moved on their own, doors slammed shut with impossible force, and blood-curdling screams pierced the night. Desperate, John sought help from Madame Evangeline, a renowned spiritual medium. She arrived at Elmwood Manor, her eyes filled with a knowing sadness. As night fell, she prepared for a séance in the grand ballroom. Candles flickered, casting eerie shadows that danced across the walls. The air crackled with tension. Suddenly, the temperature plummeted. A cold wind whipped through the room, extinguishing the candles and plunging them into darkness. Blackwood's voice, filled with rage and anguish, boomed through the room, accusing them of trespassing on his domain. Section 6. Abandoned and Haunted, Elmwood's Fate. As the entity's rage intensified, Madame Evangeline struggled to maintain control. In the chaos, John ordered his family to flee. They scrambled out of the manor, their terrified cries swallowed by the howling wind. They left everything behind, desperate to escape the clutches of Elmwood Manor. To this day, the manor stands abandoned, a chilling reminder of the tragedies that unfolded within its walls. Locals whisper of flickering lights in the windows, disembodied voices carried on the wind, and the chilling laughter of a child echoing from the abandoned nursery. Elmwood Manor remains a place of fear, forever haunted by the tormented soul of Edward Blackwood.